Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Double your chances to win all month long in March with two big promotions. On Fridays, embrace the madness and win a share of $150,000 in cash and free play. On Saturdays, starting March 8th, go for the gold and win your share of up to $10,000 in cash and free play in the 80K Fool's Gold giveaway. Enjoy live entertainment all month long and play for your chance to win big in March only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 or up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Benny Doyle right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you're ready to stay up tonight because we got high-stakes basketball out on the West Coast. Grizz-Warriors in San Francisco. Winner gets a best-of-7 series against the Rockets. Loser going to play an elimination game on Friday. So my advice is to avoid the Friday game by just winning tonight. Quite clearly, that should be the plan. We'll talk through it momentarily. First, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. Drew Hill covers the Grizzlies for The Daily Memphian. He's out in San Francisco for tonight's game. He's going to join me in about 20 minutes. I'll first thank him for getting up so early on the West Coast, and then we'll talk Grizz-Warriors. When I finish talking to Drew, take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories, among them Western Kentucky transfer Julius Thedford has committed to Penny Hardaway's Tigers in high school, played at both Whitehaven and Cordova, so he's a local product. Welcome home. I'll tell you more about him in about 40 minutes. The NBA writers over at CBSSports.com have filed their ballots for this season's award. Did they vote Jalen Wells Rookie of the Year? I'll answer that question for you. We'll do that in just a bit. Amy Lou Wood. You know Amy Lou Wood?
Yes.
She, of course, one of the stars of season 3 of The White Lotus. She's upset. Oh, she's upset about how she was portrayed this past weekend on Saturday Night Live. She was even photographed in tears yesterday in London. Unclear if it's related or unrelated, but still, everything I just told you is true. She's upset about the way she was portrayed, and she was photographed in tears yesterday. I'll ask Bennett if he has empathy for this woman with big teeth. We'll do that a little later on in the show. As expected, UConn alum Paige Beckers was selected first pick in last night's WNBA draft. Congratulations to her. She's the 6th UConn woman to ever be first overall pick in the WNBA draft. We'll spend a few minutes on that. We'll do it in the 3rd segment. And a new film is scheduled to be released this Friday, and it is labeled, as of this moment, 100% fresh at Rotten Tomatoes. 100% fresh. It's called Sinners, I'll tell you more about it. Bennett sent it to me. You know he'd be on top of this. We'll talk about it during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carry out. We'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to, but I did want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies because game 83 of the 2024-25 season is going to be played tonight in San Francisco. Oh, buddy, it's a big one. The winner will secure the 7th seed in the Western Conference playoffs and enter a best-of-7 series with the Houston Rockets. That's preferable. The loser going to host a game on Friday night against the winner of tomorrow night's game between the Mavericks and Kings. Then the winner of that Friday night game would secure the 8th seed in the Western Conference playoff and enter a best-of-7 series against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Nobody wants to do that. So that's how the next 4 days are going to go down, Bennett, one way or another. Tonight, the Grizz are 6.5-point underdogs on the road. Tip is set for 9 o'clock. You can watch it on TNT or True TV. You can even stream it on your Max app. Big Bet Bennett, that's the table setting. The table's now set. You got your coffee ready? We're staying up late tonight. You ready to stay up late tonight?
I am ready to stay up late.
You already got your first cup of coffee.
Very excited, yes. I'm very excited.
You already got your first cup of coffee. You're ready to go. Like I said, Grizz, 6.5-point underdogs tonight over at ESPN.com. 10 different writers were asked to pick the winner. 9 of them picked the Warriors. The only one who picked the Grizzlies. The only one who still believes. It's the great Ramona Shelburne.
I trust Ramona's opinion.
I've always trusted Ramona's opinion.
She's great on the league.
She's the best of the best.
I want to know who the other writers were that picked.
People who don't matter. They're non-believers.
Seems that way.
There's 10 people over at ESPN.com call themselves NBA writers, like to make predictions on stuff. 9 of them, turns out, are non-believers.
Isn't Ramona on the West Coast too?
Yes, L.A.
So she knows what's going on.
She knows
right?
what's going on.
Yeah.
Yes. She's a believer. The rest of them are non-believers.
I value that.
I
value that.
I value it too.
Yep.
Who knows better about the NBA in California? Ramona Shelburne. These other 9 writers, they're not based in L.A.
No, probably New York.
Probably New York.
Yeah.
Probably East Coast bias or some shit like that.
Yeah,
probably
that's right.
They're probably in New York with some East Coast bias.
Well, wait, then that would be in our. No, that's fine. That's
It's
fine.
fine.
No, I'm good.
that.
I like this.
Yeah. But they you know how they are in New York. They just want all their stars.
They just want the stars.
They just want their Steph Currys and their Draymonds and their Jimmy Butler. Blinded by the stars, but not Ramona Shelburne. Even though she lives in L.A., surrounded by stars, not blinded by the stars, she still believes. Look at it. She still believes.
Let's go. Shout out Ramona.
Shout out Ramona Shelburne. Official position for tonight. It's not Memphis versus everybody. I never really like that. I don't ever really think that's true. But tonight I will make an exception. I'll alter a little bit and make an exception.
Okay.
Here's tonight's slogan. You ready for tonight?
Yep.
Memphis plus Ramona Shelburne versus everybody.
I love it.
It's us and Ramona against everybody else. Win one for Ramona.
That's my rallying cry.
Win one for Ramona. It's our 4-word rallying cry in advance of game 83.
I'm in.
Win one for Ramona.
Let's go.
Bennett, say it with me.
Win one for Ramona. I mean, it's kind of, but it's, I like it.
Win one for Ramona.
Yeah, put it on a shirt, Jalen says.
Win
I agree.
one for Ramona. Advance to play the Houston Rockets. Avoid the possibility of an elimination game. Avoid the possibility of a best-of-7 series against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Win one for Ramona. If you're wondering why almost nobody besides Ramona believes the Grizzlies are going to get this done, it's all in the numbers. There's a lot of numbers, and almost none of them
you
work.
And your numbers.
Here we go with me and my numbers.
You and your numbers.
Oh, man. You ain't going to like these.
Okay.
You ain't going to like these numbers.
Hit me with them.
I'm going to hit you with some truthful numbers.
Okay.
And it's going to be tough to get through, all right?
All right.
Just bear with me.
Okay.
I'm going to walk you through these numbers. And then I'm going to get us to a point where we're just going to forget about them.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
We're going to acknowledge the numbers, and then we're going to forget about them and just go out there and try to win one for Ramona. All right?
Okay.
The Grizzlies are 1-3 against the Golden State Warriors this season. 0-2 against them on the road. That's the first troubling.
Okay.
That's the first troubling set of numbers.
I knew they didn't win. They haven't won in California this year.
We're getting there.
I figured that.
Well,
okay.
we're getting there. Don't worry about that.
Damn it.
The Grizzlies did finish 6-19 in the regular season against the teams that finished top 7 in the West. So that's that whole, they don't really beat good teams. That's what that emphasizes. They went 1-11 in those games against those same teams in road games. So that's not great. They have quite literally, for whatever reason, like you said, Bennett, been unable to win a game in the state of California all season. They're 0-8 in the Golden State. Not 0-8 against Golden State. 1-3 against Golden State. 0-2 on the road.
I got you.
But 0-8 in the Golden State, otherwise known as the great state of California.
Yeah.
The Pacific time zone is not our friend. And beyond that, frankly, if we're being honest, these two teams have been headed in different directions for a little while. You know, one of them fired their coach. The other one traded for Jimmy Butler.
That's
On the
bad.
day of the trade deadline, the Grizzlies were 35-16. On the day of the trade deadline, the Warriors were 25-26. Man, they look like two different franchises at that point. But then at the deadline, the Grizzlies traded Marcus Smart, Jake LaRavia, and added nothing of substance. At the deadline, the Warriors added Jimmy Butler. That's substance. And since that day, the Warriors are 23-8. And since that day, the Grizzlies are 13-18. So, yeah, the Grizzlies and Warriors both have the same 48-34 record. Like if you're just pulling up your CBS Sports app, you're like, you got the same record. Yeah, they do. But this configuration of the Warriors and this configuration of the Grizzlies have performed very differently for a while now. Either way, none of it matters tonight. Or at
Just
least
one NBA game.
Or at least none of it has to matter tonight, Bennett. None of it has to matter tonight. Do you want to live in the past or do you want to live in the present? What do you want to do? Where do you
I
want to live?
live in the present.
Where do you want to live?
I don't like living in the past. Well, I do like living in the past, but I want to live in the present today.
I also like living in the past.
Yeah. I mean, I was a history major. I like living in the past.
Everybody knows you were a history major. You struggle with state capitals and basic arithmetic.
Yes.
But, like, you know some history. All right? You know any play-in history between the Grizzlies and the Warriors? You know any history about that?
Yeah, we're pretty good at it.
Works in our favor. You know the Warriors play-in history specifically? They're 0-3 in these situations.
Oh, I didn't know they were 0-3.
I think that's
I knew
true.
they were 0-1 against us.
They ain't that good in this situation. They might be good winning championships, but they can't deal with this stuff. They might be good at winning championships over there in San Francisco, but they have yet to master the play-in. They don't know how to master a play-in. This is not their strong suit. You get into the NBA Finals against the Golden State Warriors, you might have a problem. Play-in? They're not comfortable here.
And they just lost on their home floor to the Clippers in an important game. I mean, this is an important game.
And their much older core had to play real minutes on Sunday.
That's right.
All of our much younger core
Fresh legs.
rested and fresh-legged.
Fresh legs.
All I saw Jaron and John Dez do on Sunday is watch Yuki.
That's right.
That's all they were doing is watching Yuki and fist-bumping Marvin Bagley. Rested. Tonight, the Grizzlies are the younger team. The Grizzlies are the rested team. The Grizzlies have more play-in success than the Warriors. They're not comfortable in this. Put them in the NBA Finals. That's where they're comfortable.
Yep.
Put them in the play-in. That's where we're comfortable.
I like that.
Would it ever be nice to get to a point where we were comfortable in the NBA Finals and not dealing with play-ins?
Of course.
Of course, Bennett. But we ain't thinking about the future and we ain't thinking about the past.
No.
We're in the present. This is not a best-of-7 series tonight. If it were, I mean, I'd still try my best to be hopeful, but it's a different deal. This is not a best-of-7. This is not a best-of-5. Bennett, I got news for you. It's not even a best-of-3. You know what this is?
What?
One 48-minute basketball game. That's it. One 48-minute basketball game.
Can we hold Steph under 50?
Do you even need to? Do you even need to? Almost beat him a few weeks ago. Steph got 52.
It's true.
Do you even need to? Could you let him eat and dare somebody else to get you? Let Draymond stand over in the corner wide open. Buddy, if you want to knock down three-pointers from the corner, do it. We're going to let you shoot them, no?
Yes.
But we're not going to let Steph get off. And if we do let Steph get off, can we keep everybody else under control? A lot of different ways to get this done, Bennett. A lot of different ways to get this done. Here's what I'm about to tell you. I got some facts for you.
Okay, hit me.
I'm going to hit you with them in the form of questions because I want to hear it come out of your mouth.
Okay.
Have the Grizzlies beaten a team this season better than the Warriors?
Yes.
Of course. Have the Warriors
I have
lost?
to think about that for a second.
It's a harder question than it should be. It's a harder question than it should be, I acknowledge. But you did get the answer right. The answer is yes.
Good. Okay. Not lately, but that's fine.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I asked it the way I asked it intentionally.
Yeah.
I didn't use the word lately or recently
Okay.
or without Jalen Wells or any of this stuff.
Yeah, right.
Have you been it? I know you watch every game. Have you watched the Grizzlies beat a team better than these Warriors this season?
I absolutely have.
Okay.
I absolutely have.
Have the Warriors lost to a team worse than the Grizzlies this season?
Of course.
Then what are we even talking about? We ain't asking the Grizzlies to do something they ain't done. And we ain't asking the Warriors to do something they ain't done. All we're asking the Grizzlies to do is beat a team like the Warriors. And they've done that before.
Yep.
And all we're asking the Warriors to do is lose to a team like the Grizzlies. And they've done that before.
Yep.
I feel good.
I feel okay.
I feel good. I'm going to stick with good.
You feel good.
Yeah, why not? What's the point in feeling bad?
It is a fun,
It's a fun day. It's a fun night. Here's what I'm looking forward to. This is just a good day. All right? I'm going to do this. All right? And then I'm going to have a nice afternoon. And then you got Mets and Twins at 6:40. I'm going to have that on.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to start getting a little loose with it.
Yep.
All right? And then at a little after 9 o'clock, Ernie and Chuck and Shaq and Kenny are going to be on TV.
Yep.
And they're going to be getting us ready for a Grizzlies postseason game. Against Steph Curry, the greatest shooter to ever live. A future Hall of Famer, a top 10 player of all time, among the biggest stars in the world. And you get a chance to send him into an elimination game with John Morant throwing grenades nonstop.
No, I mean, we're literally playing. This is the biggest NBA game this week.
In some ways, because every other NBA game that's going to be played this week is either going to be somebody going for an 8 seed. In the Eastern Conference thing, but I don't care about that. Nobody cares about that. And then, everything else is game ones on Saturday.
Yeah.
And game ones aren't that important. I mean,
they're not that important.
You want to win them, but it's not like must win.
No.
Tonight, in all seriousness, tonight is huge because it can actually determine, and I know this goes without saying, but I'm going to illustrate it even more than on a surface level for you. Tonight's outcome, here's what I'm saying. You lose tonight, the best case scenario for you is best of 7 against Oklahoma City. Nobody thinks you're winning that. You don't even think you're winning that.
No.
Okay?
I do not.
There's no reason to think you can win that.
No.
I mean, I guess in game 1, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander could turn an ankle.
Sure.
And something could. But there's no actual tangible reason to say, I'd feel good about that. But if you beat the Warriors tonight in San Francisco, and that's the last thing you've seen, you can start to talk yourself into, dude, it's just the Houston Rockets. Let's go.
Yeah. And
you can start to talk yourself into that.
Yeah.
If you lose tonight and then beat the Mavericks or the Kings.
Right.
And then go into a best of 7, we're not talking ourselves into that. We'll be hopeful and we'll say it's fun to watch and I can't wait for game 3 at home, but you won't believe it. You won't believe it.
No, I won't.
You can talk, if they beat the Warriors tonight, you can talk yourself into maybe if they do that and Ja does this and whatever and Jaren stays out of foul trouble, I could see him stealing one on the road and you come back tied 1-1 with a game 3 inside FedEx Forum against Dillon Brooks and the Rockets. Think about how that feels relative to the alternative, which would be lose tonight, beat whoever on Friday, go to Oklahoma City, best of 7, come back home down 0-2 to the best team in the world. It's totally different, and it's dictated by what happens tonight.
Yeah, and I wouldn't pick them to win a Houston series, but I'm with you. That's one of those where, can Dillon Brooks shoot him out of a game in one of the first 2 on the road?
I'm just saying
we've seen it before, right?
It is much easier to wrap your head around the idea of advancing to the Western Conference semifinals if you are coming off of a win over Golden State on the road and entering a series against the Rockets, as opposed to losing to Golden State on the road,
right?
After losing to Denver, after losing to Minnesota, And then, you beat some shit team on Friday that probably don't even want to be in this thing.
Right.
And then you go into a best of 7 against Oklahoma City. There's no way to even I'm not talking about what will actually happen. I can't predict stuff. It's sports.
Yeah. And you're the lower seed regardless.
What I can predict, though, I can't predict the outcomes of games or series. What I can predict is how you'll feel. I know how you'll feel heading into the weekend. If you win tonight and it sets up a best of 7 with the Rockets, all we'll be talking about is they just went to Golden State, won a game. Ja outplayed Steph. Jaren didn't get in foul trouble. Vince Williams took on a tough assignment and looked the way you imagine him looking in the preseason. And now it's a best of 7 with the Rockets, who, had a better season than you had. But I ain't scared of the Rockets. Let's go play the Rockets. That's a great feeling. The alternative is lose tonight, beat whoever on Friday, and it's like best of 7 with the Thunder, and it's like,
right,
how we end up in a best of 7 with that team.
The other thing too, man, is like when we were, the 2 seed in the West, or when we were just when we were competing for one of those top 6 teams in the Western Conference for the majority of the first half of the season and some of the second half. What were the teams that you said you wanted to play in a playoff series? Minnesota and Houston.
Right.
Like it was those two.
And let's be clear, you'd be an underdog against Houston.
That's right.
But it's gettable in your head. Trust me, John Morant and Jaren Jackson and Desmond Bane think they could beat the Rockets in a 7-game series.
Yes, I believe that.
They probably think they could beat the Thunder. But deep down they would know we'd have to do something that doesn't make sense relative to what we've been doing, and they'd have to do something that doesn't make sense relative to what they've been doing. Right? You wouldn't be able to find it in the numbers. It's just much easier to wrap your head around. We got a 7-game series with the Rockets, and we can win this. It's just easier to wrap your head around that. So the only way to have that become your reality, got to win tonight. I say go win. I say go win tonight. That's my advice.
Go win tonight.
That's my advice. Let's talk to Drew Hill about it. He'll be up next.
Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
Who's going to be the tougher team that rebounds and prevents second-chance opportunities?
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Shinedown, Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
I never in a million years would have ever thought that John Cena's final run would be as a heel.
I love it.
I love it.
Once they saw this from The Rock,
they knew it. Everybody knew it except for Cody, which was so good.
Great camera work by
And
WWE.
then the kick. Yeah, I don't think WWE gets enough credit for the camera work and the production quality. I mean, it is incredible.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back. Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. We're inside the Bill Ford Tough Studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. We were scheduled to be joined by Drew Hill, Daily Memphian, live from San Francisco. I got bad news if you were looking forward to that. We have not been able to connect with Drew Hill.
Someone must have had a night out on the town in San Fran. What do they call it? What do they call it? What do they call San Francisco?
Well, it depends on who you ask. Like that Reds announcer called it one thing.
Oh, yeah. Not that.
Okay, yeah. He got fired real quick.
Yeah, he got fired really quick.
Yeah. Turns out you can't say that.
No. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can.
Well, it's the Bay. San Francisco is the Bay, of course. It's the home of the Golden Gate Bridge. You're familiar with a world traveler like you. You've never been to San Francisco?
I never have. That's one of those that I'd like to go to.
It's beautiful.
I would love to go. The only West Coast cities I've ever been to are Anaheim and L.A. That's it.
I like both of those.
Yep.
Been to San Francisco several times.
Well, unless you count Lima, Peru, but that's like...
We're not going to count Lima, Peru.
Okay, just making sure.
As West Coast United States.
West Coast of South America, yeah.
Is it the West Coast of South America?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
It's Pacific Ocean.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So your feet have been in the Pacific Ocean?
Multiple times.
My feet have also been in the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
How many different oceans do you think you've set your feet in?
2. The Atlantic and the Pacific.
Yeah. I don't understand the difference between oceans and seas.
A sea is...
Sometimes I think I'm in an ocean and they say, no, you're in a sea. And I don't know why.
A sea is a smaller body of water than the ocean.
Well, who gets to decide that?
I think a sea might be like surrounded by landmass on multiple sides, possibly. It's still it's bigger than a lake. A sea's bigger than a lake, obviously.
I always assumed as much. So what are our bodies of water?
We have rivers.
Lakes. So we have like Arca Butler.
Yeah, we have lakes.
We have Sardis.
We have rivers.
Pickwick.
Yeah.
Those are
great.
Those are lakes.
I like Lake Hamilton. That's in Hot Springs. It's a little lake. I like it, though.
I like a good lake.
It's good enough for me.
It's good enough for me. I like a good lake. You possibly unpopular opinion. You ready for this? Mm-hmm. Not as glamorous.
No.
Doesn't look as great on Instagram.
No.
All right? You're talking to a man who has overlooked oceans and overlooked seas.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think I've ever overlooked a sea.
Oh, man, I've been in a bunch of seas.
Overlooked a sea. I wouldn't begin to know what that looks like.
I've been in the Dead Sea.
How was that?
I actually don't know if that's true. That might be a lie. I feel like I've been in the Dead Sea, but I don't know if that's true. I'd have to Google where it is.
Okay.
Where is the Dead Sea?
The Dead Sea, I believe, is... I have no idea. Where is the Dead Sea? Is that
Drew Hill, you did this. All right?
Thanks,
if
Drew.
you were here
Appreciate
right now,
it.
Drew Hill, if you could have just woke your ass up, we'd be talking about Steph Curry and John Morant.
I want to say the Dead Sea is...
Instead, we're ranking bodies of water.
Is the Dead Sea Mediterranean? It feels
I've
Mediterranean.
definitely been in the Mediterranean.
It feels Mediterranean.
I've definitely been in the Mediterranean.
Oh, that is a sea. That's a sea. So the Dead Sea can't be Mediterranean.
Well, let's see where the Dead Sea is. I need to know. Before I go around spreading rumors about myself.
I was a history major, not a geography major, all right?
Before I go around spreading lies about myself, I should know whether or not I've been in the Dead Sea. I haven't. I want the record to reflect. I've never been in the Dead Sea.
Where is it, by the way?
It feels like it's around. It's over there in.
Is it around Israel?
Israel.
Okay, let me see.
I haven't been to Israel lately or ever.
Oh yeah, that's a small sea.
That's a little bitch ass sea, I think.
Yeah, that's a little sea.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's a sea.
Oh yeah, the Mediterranean's huge.
Yeah, that's not. How does that get to be a sea? That doesn't look any bigger than Sardis.
See, it's.
I'm not sure the Dead Sea is bigger than Pickwick. If I'm being honest with you, that looks like Horseshoe Lake to me.
Yeah, these seas, they're surrounded by land on every side. That's what it is for the most part, unless you're like talking Norwegian.
I am talking Norwegian specifically.
I think that's what constitutes a sea, is it's got land surrounding it on all sides. How
about this? Let's make a deal with each other. Before we start to talk about bodies of water, let's do a little research on it so we don't sound so stupid next time.
Okay.
You ever realize how stupid you are? Not you specifically, but just broadly speaking. Like, I know about some stuff and I can think through it. Mm-hmm. You know, I can tell stories and stuff.
Yeah.
But just very basic things.
Mm-hmm.
They're just some very basic things where if you pop quiz me on it,
yeah,
I'd be like, I don't know. Like, this was a perfect example. Why is a sea a sea? I have no idea. Like, your answer sounds as good as anything else.
I think mine's right, but I don't know. I don't know that to be fact.
But like at my age, shouldn't I know the answer to like why is a sea a sea? Shouldn't you just know that?
Yeah.
And I don't. I have no idea. Like, it's possible my kids know that, but I just have lost track of why seas are seas. Here's what I was trying to tell you. Doesn't look as good on Instagram.
Yeah.
I admit up front. I put a good lake trip up against a good ocean or sea trip, I think I can have just as much fun on a lake or at a lake house overlooking a lake.
Yeah.
I think I can have just as much fun there as I can have in Santorini overlooking whatever sea you overlook in Santorini.
Yeah, I know I can buy that. I'm texting with Drew.
Why are you texting with Drew?
He's about to come on with us.
Okay, tell him to bail us out of this.
I know. Yeah, he's about to come on with us. Hang on, I'm getting him set up. That's why I'm texting now.
How do you feel? I'm trying to talk to you about lakes, and you're over there texting Drew here. Hey,
this is great.
Game 83 is tonight. I'm trying to figure out how you feel about lakes, and you're over there texting with Drew Hill. I like a good lake.
I like a good lake too. I'll be at Lake Hamilton this summer.
Okay, stop bragging.
Okay, one thing that I wanted to say, though, about this Grizzlies-Warriors game, GP, that I hinted at a little bit yesterday is I hope...
I'm going to text right now and not pay attention to you.
So I know that, and Jalen, check that Zoom. I think Drew's hopping on. I talked yesterday about how our bigs have done really good against them and how they're undersized. I do hope that because we don't have Jalen Wells tonight, that they start Santi, even though Santi's like... not a great defender.
Yeah, you want to start a not great defender against the Golden State Warriors?
Okay, then who would we start?
Honestly, Vince Williams or Scottie Pippen.
I've seen people say that too. Put Scottie on Steph.
I think you're going to see that at some point.
I think you'll see that.
I don't know that they'll start there, but like Scottie can at least chase him around and has the motor and the. Some of that's just want to. Like, do you want to run around with Steph Curry all night long? Some of it's just like. Are you willing to do it? Are you willing to not get caught up on screens and willing to fight through it and just chase him? You're just playing. You're not even playing basketball all night long. You're just chasing a man around. Because people, we'll get back to the lake talk. Don't worry.
Yeah.
People often, in fact, always describe Steph Curry this way. Here's what they say: Steph Curry, that's the greatest shooter of all time. That's the greatest shooter who's ever lived. Which is true. I think we all agree on that. Nobody's debating that, are they? That's the greatest shooter we've ever seen. You know what else he is in terms of the greatest? The greatest mover without the ball in NBA history, or certainly at least in my lifetime. And given that players today are more everything than players from generations prior, I would assume that if you're the best mover without a basketball in my lifetime, you're the best mover without a basketball in the history of the game, given the way the game is played today. So dramatically different than it used to be played. So, yeah, greatest shooter of all time. Also greatest mover without the basketball of all time, which is how he ends up getting a lot of these shots. Obviously, last time he torched the Grizzlies for 52 points. And it wasn't a killer because the Grizz were still in the game. But ultimately, I don't know that you want to get him going like that. Because that type of performance in that building turns that building into a chaotic atmosphere that can get difficult to deal with. Look who's here. It's Drew Hill from the Daily Memphian, live from San Francisco. Somebody got their time zones mixed up. Let me help you. We live, you and I, Drew, in the Central Time Zone.
I know.
But when we travel to California, we are suddenly in the Pacific Time Zone, and that's always going to be a 2-hour difference. So at that point, 10:20 actually is 8:20. And how you doing? It's good to see you.
I'm good. Here's the thing. My favorite coffee place is out here in on the West Coast, Phil's. It's like a chain, but I like it a lot. And so I was all excited to get up and go to Phil's, and I was getting ready. I had not checked my phone. I put my phone on D&D, and then Bennett texted me, and I did not see it. And I was about to walk out the door when I looked down at it. It was like, oh crap. That was that's not right. I thought it was an hour from now. Nope, 2-hour difference. But hey, I'm here. I'm here now.
You're here. Good. You're here now. I appreciate you being here. You're doing me a favor, not the alternative. You're helping me get through a show, and all I'm doing for you is like preventing you from getting the coffee that you love. So I won't keep you too long, and then you'll be off to get your Mocha Joe, as they say. Grizzlies tonight in San Francisco. Warriors. I sort of set it up like this. Obviously, I can't predict games or the outcomes of games or the outcomes of series, but I can fairly reasonably, I think, predict the way we'll all feel as people who want good things for the franchise and by extension the city. And so tonight's game is massive. Yeah, for obvious reasons, but also for these reasons. If you are coming off of a win against Golden State on the road and you are heading into a best-of-7 against the Houston Rockets, you can wrap your head around that pretty easily. Like, you'll be an underdog, but you can be like, man, this season hasn't gone the way I expected, but we just beat the Warriors on the road. If you could beat the Warriors on the road, you can beat the Rockets it's just, you can talk yourself into it. You lose tonight, come back Friday, beat whoever you beat. That doesn't make you feel good because those teams stink. And then you're heading into a best-of-7 against the Thunder, and it just feels hopeless. Whether it is or not, that's the way it feels. The outcome of tonight's game, I mean this sincerely, will dictate the way people who care about the Grizzlies feel over the next few days and maybe even week plus. Like, tonight's outcome dictates the way we go through the rest of our week. Have I overstated it, or is that about right?
No, that's about right. But it's kind of wild that we've arrived here because before the season started, we would have said this is probably, as good as we thought it would be for the Grizzlies because we didn't know, right? I remember writing a column from Media Day that said, who are these Grizzlies? We're about to find out, right? Because we have no idea. Like they had just come off of a season where they were so injured and, you wondered if they were going to put the pieces together. There were the Taylor Jenkins rumors over the summer. Like, we didn't know what to expect from this team. Then we go through December, and it was like everybody sort of reset every expectation. And so once that happens, like, I guess the mindset sort of shifted for everybody. But if we want to go based off of what we expected when the season started, like, I think they went over their win total this season, and no one, it doesn't feel that way, right? Because of the way that it finished. Well, I
don't mean to interrupt, but you're exactly right in the sense that if I would have told you in October, let's just say Media Day, if I would have said, here's the deal, Ja's only going to play 50 games. You're going to start 2 rookies for much of the season. Marcus Smart and Jake LaRavia will be moved at the deadline. You'll bring back nothing of substance, and you'll still win 48 games. You would have been like, holy gee, how did that happen? That sounds amazing. So, like, on a surface level, that's okay, but it doesn't feel amazing at all. And evidence that it's not is that the coach got fired in the process of all of this. And so the record against good teams, the way they performed lately since the trade deadline, I mean, these are 2 franchises with the exact same record, but going wildly different directions over the past, since the trade deadline. So you're right in the sense that 48 wins, everything I just said, the context matters. It should feel better than it feels, but it doesn't. It feels not great right now, but you can flip that tonight with just 1 win in a 48-minute game.
I think you can, but it's hard to erase everything that happened at the end of the regular season too with just 1 win. I think if you played a competitive series against like the Houston Rockets, maybe that changes. But if you're swept out of the first round, which I think that's why everybody views this as so important, because if you play OKC, it's you feel like it's over before it even started. But nothing sits well with. I can tell you this, with the organization and with the players, with the way that this finished. It's why this game is being so, has so much attention on it, in addition to what it means to get into the playoffs. It's like, as I tweeted, and this is something that Jeff responded to me about, and like we've gone back and forth about it all week. It's like, you're not going to tell the best players on the team to bow out of postseason opportunities over draft picks or whatever. And how do I know that? Like, one, because it's preposterous, because it's the NBA postseason and no team's going to do that in the postseason, not with the league watching. 2, because these players badly want to be in the playoffs. Like, just listen to Jaren Jackson talk. Like, from the pieces that I wrote back in January, the series that I did on him, I think it was the last time or February maybe, the last time I was talking to you, like he was like adamant that his only regrets like had to do with basketball, and like he was talking about for like 30 minutes the deep pain that it felt, and embarrassment he felt that they didn't make the playoffs last year. Of course, this guy wants to be back in the postseason this year. You're not going to tell the players anything different. Like, they're going to treat this like it's the freaking Super Bowl tonight, as they should, as they should.
I agree, and I'm not ignorant to, pick is protected here, and if you do this, you lose it, and if you don't do this, you keep it. I get all that. I just don't think any of it should figure into the conversation. You have three of the best players at their positions in the world in their primes, and this season has not gone as expected, but to use a poker cliche, they've still got a chip in a chair. Like, they're still in this thing. And I understand what is most likely. I understand the most likely scenario for the rest of the Grizzlies season is exactly what I'm about to say. Lose tonight, win Friday, get destroyed by the Oklahoma City Thunder. I understand. That is the most likely scenario. But it's not definitely what has to happen. You could win tonight, and then you set yourself up for something that seems more manageable. Or you could lose tonight, win on Friday. You go to Oklahoma City, and for whatever reason, you still won. And you come back home tied 1-1. And then, I don't know, Chet Holmgren goes, you never know is what I'm saying. The only trip to the conference finals in franchise history is a byproduct of people getting hurt on other teams. That is what, we can celebrate the core four if you want to, but that's what happened. Other people got hurt on other teams, and it opened up a path. So as long as you've got, again, a chip in a chair, and that's what they got right now, you keep playing. You keep playing, and they're going to play tonight. And if they lose tonight, they're going to play Friday. And if they win Friday, they're going to play. And I know how it'll likely end, but I promise you, they still think there's a chance in there somewhere to make all this right if it just bounces the right way for them.
Yeah, there's a pathway to win. There is a pathway to win tonight, and that is Ja, right? If you go look at what he has done in the postseason, particularly against the Warriors, he's been freaking awesome, dude. Mm-hmm. Like, just amazing. And we were talking about that yesterday when I was, I ran into Mike Wallace, to Michael, like all of us, where we were all just saying, what do you think? What do you think? Just meeting of the minds here. What do we think is the pathway for this team to win? Everybody really agreed. It's like Ja has to be awesome in this game if they want a chance to win. And it's a fascinating matchup, too, because the bigs, like Zach Edey, could either be a huge advantage or a disadvantage in this game for the Grizzlies because he's got so much size the foot speed, it can be a problem when Golden State's running five guys around the perimeter and he's trying to play chase. But he's also such a size advantage that if he's grabbing a ton of offensive rebounds, he's going to make up for that. How many minutes is Jaren going to play? You want him to play 40, I think, tonight if you can. More, like as much of him as possible. So it's a very interesting basketball matchup just from a strategy standpoint, because I think both of these teams have advantages that they can take advantage, that they can, cash in on. And we'll just see who's able to sort of dictate the type of game that it's played. But you couldn't ask for anything better than Grizzlies-Warriors. All this drama, man. Like, come on. No. This is like half soap opera, half basketball. And I know something's going to happen tonight that's going to add to this story.
No, I mean, I don't like the idea of staying up to midnight on a Tuesday at my age with kids who have to go to school. But I kind of like the idea of, all right, we got something to look forward to late tonight, and you can get ready and have dinner and get settled in, and I'm genuinely looking forward to tonight. I don't know how to go, but I'm looking forward to the idea of a little after 9:00. Chuck and Kenny and Shaq and Ernie are going to be talking about the Grizzlies, and we're getting ready to watch a high stakes basketball game. I'm looking forward to that. Ben and I were talking earlier about who gets the Steph Curry assignment. What does the starting lineup look like? Vince has been starting. He also hasn't been great. You, the beat writer, boots on the ground. What 5 players do you expect to see in the starting lineup tonight? And who ends up running around with Steph for most of those minutes?
I think who ends up running around with Steph for most of those minutes is Scotty.
Right.
But it's interesting because I think that you could make the argument that he should start and just be on Steph from the very beginning of the game. It also does mess up some of your substitution patterns if you were to change that and you were to start Scotty. So, I to be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be Scotty or Vince. They're going to be tight-lipped about that because basketball strategy at this point is like, it's locked in a vault because these coaches view any little thing as slightest disadvantage, so they try to be as generic as possible. But I do think it's going to be Scotty on Steph for most of the game. And the Grizzlies will either do that by getting to him early or they'll do that by just putting him in the starting lineup. But, Vince has not been Vince this season. I asked Iisalo about that, I want to say maybe 2 games ago. Maybe it was the game before they left for Denver or Minnesota. And he said, I've watched a lot of Vince tape from last year. Like, I know what he's capable of. I still believe that player, he's had a lot of interruptions this year. We just got to build him back to that point. The hope probably was to get him back to that point, but truthfully, he just hasn't really had the opportunity, given the injuries to find any sort of rhythm. And Scotty's the opposite. Scotty's played great especially at the end of the season. So I would expect heavy Scottie Pippen Jr. minutes tonight, and he's probably the guy. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw Conchar. Like, I just wouldn't be, based on what they did, by resting guys. And like, Conchar was one of the players who played fewer minutes. So was Vince. Like, to me, that might signal potentially that those 2 guys could see minutes tonight. So a lot of Scotty, a little bit of Vince, maybe a little bit of Conchar, and I think they'll go with that.
Last thing before I let you go, you mentioned the interim coach, Coach Iisalo. Just 2 things. Your assessment of his job performance so far, not just in terms of wins and losses, because any of us can see that, but you're with the team. Like, how people react to him, what it's like to be around him, how the players look at him. I think all of that stuff's important. And we've sort of went through what the Grizzlies are playing for tonight. For him, obviously, all of that same stuff, but also perhaps his career. Like, is he coaching for his job right now?
I mean, obviously, the Grizzlies are going to watch closely what happens here. From the beginning, Gary, to be honest with you, I've always thought that this, nothing is decided. So I can't just say, like, I think he's going to be the next coach. It's because it's just not decided yet. But I've always thought that the Grizzlies were going to look at this and give him a real shot to be the next coach, like, and take this very serious and watch the way that he performs at the end of the season. Because if you follow the context of how he arrived here, it raised eyebrows in Europe, the way that the Grizzlies were willing to pay a lot of money to get him here. Versus if he were to land at another, franchise. And so I think they're already pretty invested in this guy, and they believe that he's a very good coach. I think that the way that the season went, and this has been reported a lot of different places, but like didn't necessarily, I guess the way that the team was coached for most of the season didn't necessarily align with some of the values and principles that Iisalo would have brought from his European team. Like, we just didn't see it as much. That's mostly the pick and roll stuff, the offense. So I think they're eager to see how this is going to go, this game tonight. I think they're eager to see what the response will be after the season when they do exit interviews with the players, because for him at this point, it is most important to build relationships with the Memphis stars, Ja, Jaren, Dez, because in the end, the team needed a new voice, somebody that they could get behind. And so far, you've heard nothing but great things from Jaren and Des about Iisalo. So I think he's off to a good start. If, we can put the record to the side for a minute. He was put in a pretty rough situation to try to come in and try to win games when the team was spiraling like it was at the end of the season. But other than that, I think he's done a very good job. And he definitely checks the box of provides a different voice, because Taylor, it was like everything was up tempo, right? Like even the way he talked was up tempo. And with Iisalo, it's like everything must be simple, everything must be clear, everything must be exactly to the point, and everything is cerebral. And I think just as a media member covering it, it's been refreshing. So and that doesn't say I didn't like covering Taylor, but when you've covered the same people for 6 seasons, a new voice is refreshing, even for us. So I can imagine what that's like for the players who have to hear that voice a lot more than we do. And I think the response has been pretty good so far.
That is Drew Hill from the Daily Memphian. Make sure you're reading him at dailymemphian.com. Most recent piece, or at least the most recent one I read, was what amounted to a bunch of interesting quotes from Coach Iisalo in advance of tonight's game against Golden State. So if you haven't read that yet, check it out, dailymemphian.com. You're the best, buddy. I appreciate your time. Go get your coffee, and we'll read you late tonight.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry I was late. But,
no apology necessary. I know what it's like to be on the road and get confused. I've done it. Whatever you did this morning, I've done it before. We're all good. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, see you guys.
All right, brother. That's Drew Hill from the Daily Memphian. Interesting stuff from Iisalo.
Yeah.
Every time I hear him talk, what I like most is that he seems to listen to what you're asking and does his best to answer it. Like he actually answers questions. Whereas with Taylor, obviously great basketball coach, a gentleman. I like Taylor Jenkins.
I do too.
I'm not somebody who's just going to pile on.
Absolutely not.
I didn't agree with everything that happened with this basketball team.
They won a ton of games with him.
I also don't know how much of it was his decision as opposed to other people's decisions.
Right.
He's a good basketball coach who did a lot of good things here for a long time. I don't know that he was always answering the questions that were getting asked, and he did talk I just remember when I went to the Knicks-Grizzlies game in New York, and so I was in that, ended up hanging out with Wally Zerbiak all night long, and Wally was at Taylor's pregame media availability that day, and he was like, dude, what is going on with your coach? And I said, what do you mean? He's like, he just he talks like a robot. I'm like, well, that's just the way he speaks, whatever. So this is just different. I'm not saying one's better. It's different. When Iisalo gets asked questions, he seems very thoughtful and very intentional in his answers. He's clearly a brilliant basketball mind. That's obvious. You can listen to him talk or listen to other people talk about him. He clearly is a brilliant basketball mind.
The Grizzlies weren't the only team interested in him.
Right.
Yep.
To me, that is not the most important thing here. I do not need the next full-time head coach of the Grizzlies to be the smartest dude in the room. I like that, but I don't need it. What I think, here's all I need to know about about whether he's going to be the next full-time head coach of the Grizzlies. I don't really care about what happened at the end of the regular season. I don't really care about what happens tonight in terms of the outcome. Here's what I need to know. If I'm in charge of deciding, is this guy going to be my full-time head coach or not heading into next season? Do my three most important players respect him and believe in him? Not like him. I don't care who they like. Liking somebody in this context is not nearly as important as respecting them and believing in them. It's helpful if you can like them, respect them, and believe in them. But of those three things, I think like is third.
Kobe Bryant didn't always like Phil Jackson.
Do you believe in the guy who's telling you what to do, and do you respect them? If those answers are not yes and yes, I don't care how smart he is. He can't. I don't want to say can't, but I wouldn't do it. And I don't know the answer to that question, me personally.
Right.
I don't know how Ja, Jaren, and Dez actually feel about the interim coach if they believe in him and respect him. But Zach should have a good idea for that. Mm-hmm. He should at this point, regardless of what happens in tonight's basketball game.
Yeah.
He should have a sense for that. And if you have a sense that they do, great, let's do it, regardless of what happens tonight. But if you have a sense that John, Jaren, Dez, some combination of them, they might like the guy and know he's smart, but are they going to run through walls for him, trust what he's saying, believe in what he's teaching, respect what he's saying, respect him as a coach, but also a man? Can he tell them they're messing up and it be received properly? If you don't have a good feeling about those types of things, this is not it. To me, that's the most important thing for this franchise right now.
I'm with you. 100%.
I don't need somebody like you ain't gonna win me over for this job, showing me you can draw up the best baseline out of bounds plays.
Yeah,
that's not what this should be about. I need those three guys to be everything we think they can be. But you ready for this? Also something they haven't been.
Yeah.
We keep saying what they can be. They ain't never been it.
Especially,
I need somebody who can bring them to that place, and I don't care whether they like him or not. Does he have the ability to bring them, or she, bring them to that place, and do they respect and believe him? If the answer to all that is yes, sign him to a long-term deal right now, today, this afternoon.
Yep.
But if you're not sure about those things, you need to look around.
Yeah, especially at the same time. Those three guys being at the peak of their powers at the same time, because we have not seen, and granted, injuries play a big part in all that. You know, the certain guys' availability, certain guys in and out. But we have not seen a super long stretch of a season, postseason, with those three guys all at the peak of their powers at the same time. And that's the biggest thing for this franchise.
All right,
yeah.
well, here it is. We talked about this yesterday. I'm not going to revisit it. We're trying to be hopeful today and look forward to tonight. But, yeah, right now they're all healthy and ready to go, right? This should be great. Mm-hmm. Except if you lose tonight, the best case scenario is a 7-game series against the Thunder.
Right.
Like you are peak of your powers, but you're set up to lose because you didn't take the regular season seriously. Because you de-emphasized the regular season and wouldn't play your normal starter minutes. So you finished with 48 wins instead of 49. 48 instead of 50. You just play normal starter minutes throughout the season. Whenever your starters are available, just play them normal minutes. Just whatever the league average is on starters, play them that, and you're sitting here with 51 wins.
Right.
You're not even. We're in a totally different spot. The problem with messing up the regular season the way they did, and I don't mean by losing games. Everybody loses games. I mean by your approach. Your approach is what made you finish 8th, not your ability, not your health, not John Morant's, missing 32 games, not Jalen Wells and Brandon Clark suffering late injuries. In spite of all of that, had you just played your starters, normal starter minutes, you would have more than 48 wins. And if you had more than 48 wins, you would not be in this situation. So they screwed up. The approach was a colossal just miscalculation. Hopefully they learned from that. Because if you didn't, this would just be so much different if we were sitting here right now talking about Ja, Dez, and Jaren are all healthy, and they're the 3 seed. Let's go. It's just unless you upset the Warriors tonight, you're in a bad situation. No matter what happens on Friday, that stinks.
Yeah.
Again, that was yesterday's show. If you want more of that, I did about 20 minutes. I did 20 minutes on that yesterday. Yeah. We don't have to do that again. As for the coaching stuff, I don't really need him to win. Win tonight, lose tonight, that's not what I'm looking for. I need to know my 3 best players, believe in him, respect him, and believe that he can take them to a place we think they can go, but they've never been. If I don't have great answers to those questions, I'm looking around. And this is scary for everybody. It's not just Iisalo coaching for his job. You got a whole staff of assistants that if he's retained, maybe they're retained. If he's not, who knows? And these are real people. Jason March is, an assistant coach for the Grizzlies, but our families are friends. Our wives know each other. Our kids know each other. He knows my kids. I know his kids. His boss just got fired. Right now things are good, but what if they move on from the interim. Does the new guy keep him? And if not, where are you going? Do you look for another job? Now you got to move your kids across the country. Who knows where? Right? It's a scary time for everybody. So this is high stakes stuff, not just for basketball teams, but like families. Like this is high stakes stuff. Big game tonight. Big game tonight. Man. I hope it goes well.
Oh, I do too.
I can't wait.
I'm excited. I'm fired up. Yep.
We come back, turn our attention to college basketball.
Okay.
Penny Hardaway secured a commitment.
Hey,
it's a Western Kentucky transfer.
What does it mean?
What does it mean? I'll tell you. I'll give it my best shot. I'll give it my best shot at what it means. We'll do that next.
We touched on this earlier, the panel here, about what really has been the mainstay of the Grizzlies, and that's Jaren Jackson Jr. Trip has just been awesome.
He's posting guys up. He's stronger than he's ever been. He's physical, and he's scoring all type of ways.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With special guests 3 doors down. And Mammoth WVH. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Creed returns, the Summer of '99 tour.
Grammy, Academy, and Golden Globe Award-winning superstar Mary J. Blige, live in Memphis. The For My Fans Tour, live at FedEx Forum Saturday, April 19th, with special guests Neo and Mario. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The iconic Mary J. Blige, for one night only.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
The new issue of Slam, the cover dropped, and it is our friend Jaren Jackson Jr. on the cover.
And shout out to you, Lane.
Yeah.
You kept, well, I mean, we knew about it, but you kept this a secret the whole time.
Yeah.
So shout out to you for
I wrote
putting
this story.
together.
We did the photo shoot a couple weeks ago here on a Sunday afternoon in the practice court. The Sneakfest show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either, and that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Memphis added a transfer out of the portal.
Awesome.
Yesterday. His name might sound familiar. It's Julius Thedford. Played at Cordova, played at Whitehaven. He played last season at Western Kentucky. Now he's coming home to be a Memphis Tiger. Welcome home. Welcome home.
No, that's good
Julius
stuff.
Thedford.
Dude, I love having a Memphis kid on the team. I just do. That's actually going to be a contributor, right?
No, it's a real player.
Yeah, for sure. Like, that's exciting. We haven't had that as much, in recent memory. So I'm fired up about this.
This is among the reasons I am willing to deal with all of the chaos that NIL and transfer portal has created, because I like these stories.
Yeah.
This is a nice story. when I'm ever trying to convince somebody that the transfer portal is not the devil, these are the types of stories I land on and tell. Stop thinking about college basketball players and college football players, whether you're a Memphis basketball fan or a Tennessee football fan. Stop thinking about them as commodities, as things that you own. You hear this all the time. It's weird. Even from people who have jobs like me, it's weird. They'll say things like, well, I just don't like that a kid can go to a mid-major, they can invest in him, develop him, and then he can just leave for nothing. You don't own him. Of course he can leave for nothing. Just like any other student at any other school can leave for nothing. What are you talking about? Like, you owe us if you're going to take this young... You don't own this person. What are you talking about? People say this stuff all the time. I promise you there's somebody right now who's a Western Kentucky fan, and this is what they're saying. The big schools didn't even want this kid a year ago. He's coming out of high school. Nobody wanted him, but we took him. We developed him. We turned him into an all-conference type player. And now, like, the bigger schools can just come by him. That's wrong. I say it's right. I say it's awesome. Think about this from Julius Thedford's perspective. Here's a young man, grew up in the Memphis area, played high school basketball at Whitehaven, played high school basketball at Cordova. I don't know this young man. I've never talked to him. I bet you it was not his dream to play at Western Kentucky. I bet you he didn't grow up wanting to be a hill topper, okay? Because I can't imagine anybody outside of probably specifically the western part of Kentucky growing up wanting to play basketball at Western Kentucky. Not to diminish the program. If my kids were good enough to play a sport at Western Kentucky on scholarship, that would be amazing, right? Not to diminish the program. I'm just saying when you're a basketball player growing up in Memphis, you probably don't grow up wanting to be a hill topper. What do you think you grew up wanting to be?
Probably a Memphis Tiger.
Or a Duke Blue Devil.
Yeah,
or
sure,
a Kansas
fair.
Jayhawk. Or maybe a Tennessee Vol or an Arkansas Razorback. I don't know.
Yep.
But it's definitely not a hill topper, and it is probably a Tiger.
Well, it was cool. I saw somebody asked him, what went into the decision to transfer to Memphis, and his response, he posted a picture of him as a kid with Penny Hardaway.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So imagine you're Julius Thedford. You're growing up in the Memphis area. You got one of your prized pictures from your childhood of you and the Memphis coach. All right. You have been watching Memphis basketball for as long as you can remember. All right. You remember Joe Jackson and you remember Will Barton and whatever you remember, you remember. And you're coming out of high school and you're playing in a grassroots tournament. And maybe Penny Hardaway walks in one day. Maybe he doesn't. When he does, he's not there to see you. Maybe he is, but he doesn't prioritize you. You keep waiting for a text message to come. It doesn't. You keep asking your high school coach, hey, has anybody reached out? What about Memphis? What about Memphis? We heard from Memphis? Nah, doesn't sound like that's, they just signed Tyrese Hunter out of the transfer portal and PJ Haggerty out of the transfer portal. They're not really looking for a high school guard ranked where you're ranked. Sorry, buddy. I know it was your dream to be a Tiger, but sounds like your best option right now at a high school, you want to go be a hill topper, play at Western Kentucky. All right, hey, it's not my dream. I want to go to Memphis or Kentucky or something like that. But Western Kentucky, let's go. Then you go there, and as a freshman, you average 12.4 points, 3.8 rebounds, shoot 37% from three, 6'4" guard, tough, can guard your position. Only played in 18 games, suffered a knee injury back in January, ended his season. But you do enough to make the same man who you were hoping and praying would come even look at you a year ago, 2 years ago. You do enough in 18 games at Western Kentucky where that man picks up the phone and offers you, probably for a decent amount of money, if you want to come home and be a Memphis, the thing you always wanted to be. You get to come home and experience that dream. In a different era of college basketball, this might not ever happen.
Right.
You go to Western Kentucky, you have this exact same season. Maybe Memphis is like, man, if we could have him and he could be on our team next year, we'd do it. But transfers have to sit out a year, and I can't afford to bring him here and sit him out a year. I don't even know if I'll be here 2 years from now. So we'll just pass on that. I got to get somebody that can help me right now. In a different era of college basketball, this might never happen. So you tell me how that's a terrible story. You tell me how that is something we should look at with disgust. I told the same story about Donovan Dent. He's from Southern California. I bet you just like Julius grew up wanting to be a Tiger, Donovan grew up wanting to be a UCLA Bruin on some level. Coming out of high school, they wouldn't recruit him. Best offer he got was New Mexico.
Yep.
Went to New Mexico, played 3 years there. This season, Mountain West Conference Player of the Year. Guess who called? UCLA. Hey, man, maybe we should have got you 3 years ago. That's on us. But we want you now. How about come home, play for the Bruins for $3 million? People looked at that story and were like, I can't believe this. Right. I looked at that story and I was like, that's awesome. That young man at first thought his dream wasn't going to come true, but kept working and then watched his dream come true. That's not a story I find disgusting. That's a story I want to tell my kids. Hey, things aren't always going to go as you want them to go. Things will not always go as planned. Keep working. You never know where it'll take you. Maybe your dream was to play at Memphis coming out of high school in Memphis, but at that point, Memphis didn't have any interest in you. So go somewhere where people have interest in you. Keep working. Bet on yourself. Prove people wrong. Keep working. Maybe you'll get to a point where the same coach in the same school you dreamed of going to but ignored you circle back to you and say, man, we'd love to have you now.
Yep.
How is that not great? I love this story. He seems like a real player, somebody who can be helpful. I don't think it's a coincidence that he happens to have Memphis ties. I don't know what they had to do in NIL exactly to get this done, but, you know, if you're Julius Thedford and, you know, an SEC or ACC program is offering however much money, you might take a little less to come home and be a Tiger because it really does mean something to you. So Memphis might have been able to get this at a slight little hometown discount. And the truth is they might have to operate that way for a couple of reasons. One, they don't have the same type of money that Big Ten and SEC schools have. Two, the price of everything is through the roof now. What used to cost $50,000 now costs $130 in terms of players. And they might have to spend $3 million to keep their best player.
Right.
So if you can get somebody on possibly a hometown discount who really wants to be here, you should.
I agree.
And they did. Again, he averaged 12.4 points per game last season in 18 appearances and shot it decently from three and is physically established enough to be a plus on the defensive end of the court, too. That's the scouting report on him, at least. And so this is a good development. Still got a ways to go in terms of roster building, but Memphis added a player that seems like he'll matter yesterday.
Number 2.
NBA writers CBSSports.com have announced their winners for various awards connected to the regular season. Jalen Wells, Rookie of the Year. Do you think he got it or not?
No.
Why not?
I think it probably went to, who is the Rookie of the Year?
I can tell you who the
it's
CBS.
Not Castle, is it?
It is Stephon Castle.
Oh, okay.
According to CBSSports.com, it should be Stephon Castle.
Okay.
7 writers voted on these awards. And for Rookie of the Year, 5 voted for Stephon Castle, 2 voted for Jalen Wells. So nobody else got a vote. It was either Stephon Castle or Jalen Wells.
That's pretty cool.
And Jalen Wells got 2 of the votes, despite being picked in the second round.
Yeah, one's a top 5 pick, and one of them's what was he, top 5? Castle was top 5.
He was up there pretty high.
Yeah, he was up there pretty high. Yeah. And one's a second round pick.
And one's a second round pick. No, it's an incredible rookie season for Jalen. And this is just a reminder of it. Hate that it ended the way it ended, but still, broadly speaking, just a terrific. You are not supposed to be picked where he was picked and start for a Western Conference contender and be good.
Right.
He was good all season long. I promise you, when they drafted him, and I've said this before, they never expected him to start for them. And when he started starting for them, I guarantee you they never expected him to keep that spot. They always assumed Marcus Smart would come back and take it, or Vince Williams would take it. Somebody would take it. Nobody could ever take his job. That's the best thing you can say about Jalen Wells.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to give him that job. They were forced to give him that job. And then they wanted somebody to take it from him, and nobody could.
That's right.
Nobody ever took his job.
That's right.
That's the best thing you can say about his rookie season. He wasn't supposed to have that job. Nobody planned for him to have that job. I'm not even sure he planned to have that job. But once he got it, nobody could take it. Now, maybe that says something about Marcus Smart and something about Vince Williams, too. But I like the idea that nobody could take his job.
I do, too.
Until he got damn near murdered in Charlotte. Right? So, congratulations. He's probably not going to be the Rookie of the Year, but he is going to be first team all-rookie, and he is going to get votes for Rookie of the Year. That's at least what the CBSSports.com polls suggest. As for MVP, this is going to be interesting. I can argue it both ways. How do you think the MVP voting broke down? 7 voters.
I think I'll say 5 of them gave it to Shea.
4 to Shea, 3 to Nikola Jokic. Here's the thing with this. It just comes down to how you interpret this stuff. If you want to do one of the best players in the world on the best team in the NBA in this particular season, then that's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
He is one of the best players in the world who performed at an extremely high level for the best team in the NBA this season. If that's what you prioritize, you vote for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Who's the best player in the world? Who probably had the most, like, what in the world is he doing season? It's Nikola Jokic.
I think we're going to look back and say that he
should have had 6.
Right. I think it's going to be like the LeBron thing.
Yeah, it's LeBron. LeBron should have more MVPs than he has.
Yep.
And Jokic is going to retire with fewer than he should have.
I agree.
And because the one they gave to Embiid should have been his. It just should have.
Of course.
It just should have. It's like the one they gave, and
careful.
I say this respectfully. I
think I know what you're going to. I know where you're going to. Say it.
I love that Derrick Rose is the youngest.
I knew you were going to do this. I knew you were going to do this.
In NBA history. I love that. He shouldn't be. He was not the best player in the league that year, and he was not the MVP that year.
Disgusting.
LeBron James was the best player in the world that year.
I love our king.
And LeBron James, go watch the playoff series when they got to go play. Woo, that was king stuff. That was peak of powers king stuff.
I love our king.
I love our king too.
You're not taking that award from D Rose.
I'm not trying to. I'm just saying.
I don't like that talk.
I'm just saying if Shai wins this MVP, it will be viewed by many exactly like that one. Yeah, Shai was amazing for a team with an awesome record, but he wasn't the best player in the world, and he wasn't the most valuable player. Clearly, the Thunder would not be the Thunder without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but what would the Nuggets be without Nikola Jokic? Who do you genuinely think is more valuable?
I think that the Thunder would be a better team without Shai than the Nuggets would be without Jokic this season. Yes.
If you take Jokic off the Nuggets, they go into the lottery.
Yes.
You take Shai off of the Thunder.
They're still probably a playoff team.
Probably a top 3 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Probably still a top 3 seed. Again, I'm not saying you have to do it this way or that way. I'm just saying it comes down to how you interpret this stuff. What matters most to you? And for some, reasonably, it will be the side that leans towards Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I get it. I don't think it's stupid to vote for him. You're voting, but you are voting for him for the reasons I just laid out.
Mm-hmm.
But then the Jokic stuff is totally sensible too. And that's in some ways even easier. Just be like, what is this? What's the award again? Most valuable player? There's nobody more valuable than him. Points, rebounds, assists, wins, everything. There's nobody more valuable than him.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, he's just the best. He's the best player in the world.
Yeah.
We've already robbed him of one MVP. We're not going to rob him of another one. If you miss him on this one, you've missed him on 2.
Yeah.
And it even
that's true, man.
That's
just true.
It'll be like we will not know when they get ready to announce that night, unless Shams or somebody else scoops them on it. We won't. There'll be some intrigue some mystery into it, like who's going to actually win this award, because it's not clear. And the voting at CBSSports.com highlights that. 4 for Shai, 3 for Jokic.
Number 3.
Amy Lou Wood. She's upset.
I know. It's hurt my heart.
She's upset with Saturday Night Live. You might have seen it. They did the White Lotus spoof called The White POTUS. And it was basically President Trump, as the pill-popping dad in the White Lotus, and Melania with the it was Melania with the North Carolina accent, which was kind of funny. And then they had, all these different people in the Trump orbit cast as characters from the White Lotus. So they had a character. So it's an SNL cast member playing Amy Lou Wood, playing a member of the Trump family. You got me?
Yes.
So they have exaggerated big teeth on the SNL cast member because Amy Lou Wood, her defining quality is her teeth. In fact, like if you just, how Google will autofill sometimes.
Yeah.
If you just Google
her name,
not even that, who is the White Lotus character with, the thing that autofills first is big teeth.
Okay.
All right? She has...
Yes.
It's her defining character.
Which I like, actually.
Okay, Bennett. We'll discuss that.
No, I actually think it looks good.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, you're not a dentist. Thank God you're not a dentist. So they, they make fun of her teeth, right? And she jumped on social media and she was like, "This is not funny. It
hurt her feelings.
Her feelings were hurt." Okay. And then yesterday, she was spotted outside in London in tears. She was devastated. Now, could it have been because, she just got a phone call and found out somebody she loved so much died? It could have been, I don't know. I wasn't there. But I can tell you what page 6 suggests.
What do they say?
She's still upset and devastated from SNL, and she was having trouble holding it together yesterday in the streets of London. Broke down. She's been traumatized by SNL. Do you have empathy for this woman? Or let's make it multiple choice. Do you have empathy for this woman? Or are you more of a subscriber to the idea of toughen up, Buttercup?
So,
do you have empathy, or are you toughen up, Buttercup?
I do have empathy. I think I would be surprised. I mean, maybe that is why she was crying. I can't pretend to know. She knows she looks good.
What if she was only crying? What if she just got
I think she's a really attractive woman.
Well, of course she's an attractive woman. She's an attractive woman with unusual teeth.
But the thing is, I think it makes her unique.
Well, it clearly makes her unique.
She's got a unique feature that you just don't see all the time.
Because most people...
I think she looks great.
Okay.
It's just where I'm at.
I know where you're at.
Okay.
What if, I'm just thinking through this, what if the whole world thinks she was crying over SNL and really she just got through watching Roy win the Masters? What if she watched Roy win the Masters, then decided to go for a walk and she was still in tears from watching Rory? Yeah. And everybody's like, "Oh, look, she's still upset from SNL." And she's like, "No, I just thought it was cute when he hugged his daughter."
But as someone who's had bad teeth at a certain point in my life, I can empathize for sure.
Okay. Okay.
If that's something that bothers her, right?
Okay. Here's my point. Because I'm more of of course I have empathy. But in this situation, toughen up, Buttercup.
Because people love you.
Just because, let's just work through this real quick. You're an actress.
Yeah.
All right? Most actresses, I gather, want to get booked in big shows and big films. That's the dream, right? Just like Julius Thedford wanted to go to Memphis, not Western Kentucky. I bet you Amy Lou Wood wanted to be on a big HBO show as opposed to something on Tubi.
Watch out with the Tubi slander.
I don't mean to. It's just popped into
Tubi's
my head.
Great.
Is it? I don't know. I always see it. Sometimes I end up on. It's
free.
Yeah.
But
I have jobs. I can pay for my TV.
No, I got it. But it is in a world where everything costs money, literally everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool that there's this free service out there.
I'm gonna keep paying for my TV.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. I don't mean to flex on you, but I'm gonna pay for my TV.
Fair enough.
Okay. If it ever gets to, if you ever show up at my house,
shout out Tubi.
If you ever show up at my house and you see me locked into Tubi, you just know I must have lost a job. All right. A contract must have not got renewed.
Gotcha.
Till then,
you're watching the White Lotus.
Till then, I'm watching the White Lotus on Max. All right. Till then, I'm on my Max app. If you ever see me trade in my Max app for Tubi, just know that a contract did not get renewed. All right. So you get booked on the White Lotus. It's a massive show. All right. It's a Sunday night HBO show. you can reasonably conclude at that point, assume that you're going to be famous. And you might get so famous. You ready for this? Because this is the way this stuff works. You get so famous the same way the people in Game of Thrones got so famous that it ended up being an SNL skit. And the people in The Last of Us got so famous that it ended up in an SNL skit. And the people in Sex and the City got so famous that it ended up in an SNL skit. You see the pattern here, right? If you're a part of a big Sunday night HBO show, you will probably eventually end up on SNL. All right? You with me so far? Have I said anything that sounds crazy to you?
No.
All right. Now you're Amy Lou Wood. We're thinking through this. I'm going to be on a Sunday night HBO show. If it goes well, I'm going to be famous. If it goes well and I'm famous, I'm going to end up on Saturday Night Live. How are they going to portray me? What do you think they're going to do?
They're going to show me with big teeth.
They're going to exaggerate your teeth.
Yeah, of course.
Because that's your defining characteristic. The same way when they have a character playing Kim Kardashian, they make a big, gigantic ass. Right?
It's true.
Okay?
It's true.
When they have a character playing Donald Trump, they have a tie hanging down to his knee. All right? And then they put like pillows or whatever they put in here to make him pudgy.
Orange,
Right. And then they make him orange. Right? This is what we do. Toughen up, Buttercup. What did you think was going to happen? These are your teeth. You've had them for a long time. If you're that bothered by the way SNL is going, I'm not talking about random dude at the bar being like, hey, big teeth. That's one thing. This is SNL. This is what they do. They make fun of people.
Yeah.
They make fun of Joe Biden for not being able to remember where he's at. They make fun of Kamala Harris for being incoherent.
Right.
They make fun of Donald Trump for all the obvious reasons you can make fun of Donald Trump. They make fun of Kim Kardashian for having a bunch of divorces. They make fun of Kanye West for being crazy. It's the 50 years of this. This is what they do.
Yep.
What are you? You just have to roll with it.
I think you just have to roll with it.
You just, like, if you are famous in America, they make fun of Stephen A. Smith. They make fun of Charles Barkley and Shaq. They go on, you ready for it? They go on SNL, and you know what Shaq might be insecure about? I mean, I never talked to him about it, but you know what he might be insecure about? He doesn't speak clearly. He's kind of a marble mouth. Right? He kind of speaks. When they do an SNL impression of, you know what, they make fun of his voice. With Shaq, you make fun of his voice. If you're going to do how about this? Anthony Davis. They're going to do an SNL skit on Anthony Davis tonight. What do you think they're going to do?
Big eyebrows.
It's his defining characteristic. If you don't want people noticing your big eyebrows when they look at you, do something about your big eyebrows.
Or unibrow.
Your unibrow. If you don't like people focusing on that, recognize it's the only thing people are going to focus on, and then do something about it. You had bad teeth, you said. What'd you do about it?
Got them fixed.
Yeah.
Well, to the best of my ability.
I had a dead tooth right here from a car wreck. You know, driving along, dead tooth. I started on television. Started being on television. Buddy, it showed up on television. So you know what I did? I said, I don't want people looking at my dead tooth every night I'm on television. It makes me uncomfortable. So you know what I did? Went and got fake teeth. Now I got big fake teeth. Right?
Do you really?
Yes. Come on. These are obviously fake teeth.
I just thought you had good genes.
No.
They look good.
Well, yeah, they cost like 10, whatever they cost.
Careful.
You know? Right. So, like, I just don't understand getting famous and then being upset that Saturday Night Live focused on the thing that everybody who looks at you focuses on. Like, that is, you're a beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. But you have unusual teeth. And it is the first thing people see when they look at you. So if SNL's ever going to have fun with you, this is what they're going to do. And it's not unique to you. It's literally every famous person in America for the past 50 years on some level has had to deal with this. I think I'm toughen up, Buttercup.
Okay, fair enough.
Toughen up, Buttercup.
Fair enough.
Or either get your smile fixed. One of the two, right? Toughen up, Buttercup, or get your smile fixed. But you can't be like, look at my big teeth. Doesn't this make me so unusual? And then when people are like, yeah, it does make you so unusual, we're going to emphasize it and then be like, you can't be in tears. I mean, you can be, but I'm going to land on toughen up, Buttercup.
Okay.
And typically my heart is more empathetic than that. And I do have empathy. I don't like to see the young woman cry. Plus, have you read? She appears to be on the outs with Walton Goggins. Did you know this?
It makes me sad.
I don't like that either.
Yeah, I don't think they're friends in real life.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
But who was the guy who played the pill popping dad?
Jason Isaacs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see his interview about all of it?
No. What'd he say?
Well, they asked him about, there's some suggestions that it wasn't all roses and, whatever goes with roses. Mm-hmm. It wasn't all sunshine and you know what I mean. And he said, listen, we were in Thailand for 7 months, which, by the way, why does it take him 7 months to shoot that? On some level, I think this Mike White guy just likes being in places for long periods of time.
In exotic locations.
It should not take 7 months to shoot that show, all in one location. Like, it's all in the same place.
Right.
Either way, Jason Isaacs was like, we're all there for 7 months. And when you get a bunch of egotistical people together for 7 months.
Get on each other's nerves.
Well, you will have, it's like a cycle. It's almost like the 3 women characters. Like that plays out throughout the cast. Mm-hmm. He was like, cliques form. People gravitate to different people. Then cliques form. Then, everybody's alone. You get 10 beautiful people in a foreign country living in a hotel at the hotel bar, every other night. Eventually, something's going to happen.
Yep.
All right. Then, you ready for this? Eventually, that's going to get bad, but you still got to work together. And so there's some thought that however they got there, Amy Lou Wood and Walton Goggins got crossways at some point. They no longer follow each other on social media. Oh, shit. It's tough. I mean,
I hate that.
I hate that.
I wanted to believe that they loved each other in real life.
They probably did. They probably hooked up and then ended up having to hate each other. Or they probably cheated on their spouses with each other or something like that,
Yeah.
The way things happen sometimes. Yeah. Anyway, I wish them luck and I wish her luck. You can't be walking around with those teeth and then be surprised when they get emphasized on SNL. Like, that's all. If you were ever going to get famous enough to be on SNL, this is always the way it was going to go. You should have known that. I think you should have known that.
Number 4.
WNBA draft was last night.
Yep.
As expected, Paige Beckers, number 1 overall pick. She's now a Dallas Wing.
Okay.
And did you see the reports?
What?
Nico Harrison already looking for ways to trade her out of Dallas to Los Angeles.
Shoot, don't do it.
He said he's going to do it.
Don't do it, Nico.
He said he's going to do it.
Oh, you already lost 1 star.
He said he's moving Paige Beckers to LA.
Please don't.
He said he heard she doesn't work hard enough.
No.
That's what he heard.
No, you know what's wild about this that I saw? Front Office Sports put this out. She is set to make more money in her first season with Unrivaled, which is that other women's league that you've been seeing clips from and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
She's set to make more money in her first season with Unrivaled than her entire 4-year WNBA contract.
Well, let me give you the numbers on it.
Yeah.
She just signed the deal with Unrivaled. It's a 3-on-3 league designed to create off-season opportunities. In other words, outside of the WNBA schedule for these women who previously had been going to Russia to play, to make money. Yeah. That's how Brittany Griner ended up in jail in Russia.
Right.
She was there to play basketball. This is the way it worked in this country for a while. You play college basketball, then you go to the WNBA. They don't pay you nothing. But you still play in the WNBA because it's the WNBA. They don't pay you nothing. And then you go to Russia in the offseason. That's where you make your real money until you get caught with like a vape cartridge and now you're in jail.
Right.
Okay. It seems pretty clear at this point, given everything that's going on in the world. We don't want our most talented young women going and playing basketball in Russia. Let's keep them here. So with that in mind, we created this 3-on-3 league to keep them here.
Yeah.
And it went well. They made $27 million in revenue, which exceeded all expectations. So they're now taking that money and they've prioritized, let's get the rest of the stars. They got some of the stars. Angel Reese, a lot of players.
Yep.
They did not get Kaylin Clark. They did not get Asia Wilson. And so reportedly the priority was, hey, we just proved we can make money doing this. We're doing it. It's happening. This is real. It's television contracts. They got good television contracts.
Yep.
Let's try to get the 3 biggest stars we don't have. And those 3 names would be Caitlin Clark, Asia Wilson, and Paige Beckers. They got Paige. So in year 1 with Unrivaled, it's a 10-week season of 3-on-3 basketball, all in one location, down in Miami.
Okay.
I work with Renee Montgomery. She's, co-owner of the Atlanta Dream, so she's involved in all this stuff. She was like, these women they moved to Miami for 10 weeks and make real money playing on television, 3-on-3. So here's Paige Becker's year one salary with the Unrivaled, $350,000. Now, that's nice normal people money. That's not the way we usually think of contracts. But do you know what she's going to make in year one in the WNBA? Rookie scale contract, Paige Becker's in the WNBA next season will make $78,831. Like there are people in the chat right now just working normal jobs, and they're going to make more than Paige Becker's.
And granted, she's going to obviously have like all the endorsements and stuff. So
she makes millions in endorsements.
Yeah.
She makes $350 from Unrivaled. She's not poor, but she will play a 44-game season in the WNBA next year for $78,000. And this is a real issue that I think the WNBA has to figure out because it's not happening yet. But at some point, whether it's Angel Reese or Caitlin Clay, it could be anybody. But at some point, let's just focus on Angel Reese because she, I think, checks every box of what I'm talking about. Like Angel Reese is on a cereal box in my pantry right now. You go to McDonald's, she's on the menu.
Yep.
She's making millions in endorsements. All right?
She's got her podcast going viral with that. Yep.
She's making millions. She's making more real money from Unrivaled. If Paige is getting $350, I bet she's getting something close to that. All right? At what point do these women, if the WNBA doesn't get this figured out, and I trust that they will, I'm not sounding alarm bells, they'll figure this out. But at what point does somebody say, okay, I'm making $2 million a year in endorsements. I'm making another $250,000 a year from Unrivaled. Why am I going to play 44 games for $78,000? Are you crazy? Like, just imagine if you had 3 jobs, because that's what these women would have, 3 jobs. Unrivaled, endorsements, WNBA. Let's say Bennett had 3 jobs. You could actually apply it to me. I do have like that many jobs. But what if one of your jobs paid you $2 million and your other job paid you $250,000 and the third job that actually took up most of your time only paid you $80,000? What would you do eventually?
Quit the third job.
I'm not doing it. Why am I doing this for $80,000?
Yeah.
I got what? Why am I going to do this for $80,000?
Right.
Nobody said that yet. But if they don't get these numbers fixed quickly, somebody's going to say that.
I think you're right.
Why am I going to go play 44 games in the WNBA for less than $100,000
right.
when I'm a multimillionaire? It is not worth my time. It's just like quite literally just not worth my time.
Yeah.
And so that's something they'll have to figure out. I trust that they will. But in the meantime, Paige Becker's will make, a lot more money, about $280,000 more next season playing in a 3-on-3 league than she will playing in the WNBA. That's not good math.
Number 5.
It's a big movie weekend on tap. Friday.
Yes.
Sinners.
I'm really excited about this.
Starring Michael B. Jordan is scheduled to be released. Now, I was unfamiliar with this, but you sent it to me this morning. It is 100% approval on Rotten Tomatoes. And the man who made it, both wrote it and directed it, is Ryan Coogler, and he's a real star. He's one of our brightest young filmmakers. You would agree with that. You can't disagree with that.
I believe this movie is going to do way better than people might have thought it's going to do. I think it's going to do big numbers. Now it is rated R, so there's that caveat. But I'm excited about this, man. This is set in the 1930s. It's like basically what it's being described is, you know what I think it's kind of like? I think it's going to be kind of like Dusk Till Dawn, set in the 1930s.
I swear to God, hand to heart. You sent me this. I start reading about it. It sounds like a great film with vampires.
Yes, that's right.
That's Dusk Till Dawn.
So from
George Clooney, Tarantino,
that's right.
Amazing. I love Dusk Till Dawn.
That's so good.
So good.
From Dusk Till Dawn, so good.
So this is not a new, but that's what it made me think of.
Yes.
Not just your stupid vampire movie, but a great film That also has vampires.
That also has vampires, yes.
Dusk Till Dawn was my 90s version of that.
Yep.
And this seems like it could fall in line with that.
Yeah, from the podcast that I listened to, that some of them got to see the screening of it, and they said that it's like a crime movie, and there's vampires in it, but it's more of like just a Southern crime movie set in the 1930s. Michael B. Jordan plays twins in it, which will be kind of interesting.
There's two Michael B. Jordans.
Yeah, there's two Michael B. Jordans.
I bet the women are excited about that.
Yeah, and then the director Ryan.
You know the only thing better than one Michael B. Jordan? Two Michael B. Jordans.
Yeah.
Do you think Michael B. Jordan is the man most women would like to lay down with?
Oh, good question.
If you were to poll women across America and you say you could lay down with one man for tonight, would it be Michael B. Jordan? I think it would be. Who else would it be?
He would definitely be up there.
He's got to be up there. Who would you rather sleep with? Who would you rather sleep with beyond Michael B. Jordan? Set the baseline at Michael B. Jordan. I want you to tell me. Tell me every man you would rather sleep with than Michael B. Jordan. We're going to start the baseline at Michael B. Jordan, and now we just want you to list nothing but men you would sleep with.
Who are like the A-list actors right now?
Glenn Powell? Would you sleep with?
Glenn Powell would be up there.
Who would you rather sleep with? Glenn Powell or Michael B. Jordan?
You're saying people, not me.
No, I mean you.
No, not me.
I mean you specifically. I want to know who would you rather lay down with?
Neither.
Okay.
But
who do you think your wife would rather lay down with?
She likes Michael B. Jordan.
Everybody does.
She likes Michael B. Jordan.
Everybody does.
She wants to see this movie too.
Have you ever had this where you're just sort of talking or your wife's talking to other friends and you're just sort of hearing it and you hear her say something like, "Man, I don't know. I'll tell you what I'd do to Michael B. Jordan," and you're like, "I am nothing like Michael B. Jordan."
That's okay, because
you're fine with that.
No, it's totally fine, because then when we're watching Euphoria and like there's scene with Sydney Sweeney, it's like, man, she's great, and it's okay.
Okay, it's okay.
Because she said it too about somebody else.
I just got real insecure.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, my wife just said she would like to do things to this man, and there's nothing similar between me and this guy. Mm-hmm. Nothing.
At all.
At all.
Not even close.
At all. She is fantasizing about the opposite of me.
Well, they have fantasies just like we do.
They do, Bennett. That's important to remember.
Fantasies just like we do,
It's important to remember. Who would you rather sleep with, Glenn Powell or Michael B. Jordan?
About Sinners, the movie.
Who else is A-list? Timothy Chalamet.
He's pretty big. Hey, I saw him at Coachella having fun with.
If you put him in a triple threat match, Timothy Chalamet, Glenn Powell, and Michael B. Jordan, who's coming out of there with the
Michael B. Jordan clears. There's no question.
I think the most desirable man in the world is Michael B. Jordan. I'll stand on that. Yeah. I think the most desirable man in the world is Michael B. Jordan. In fact, there was a reality show. I didn't see the show, but I saw the clip. Mm-hmm. And there was these women sitting around the table. It was like a Real Housewives of something. Mm-hmm. These were Real Housewives.
Probably
somewhere.
Beverly Hills.
I don't know.
They are the most recent.
I can't speak to it.
They just had their reunion.
I don't know anything more than what I'm about to tell you.
Yeah.
It's 5.
Probably Beverly Hills.
It's like 5 beautiful women sitting around a table, and they're having a little conversation. They're drinking their drinks, and they're having a conversation. And it's one of these. They're having this kind of conversation. Same thing I'm doing to you. They're doing to each other. If you could sleep with one celebrity, who would it be with? Mm-hmm. And this woman says, Michael B. Jordan. Keep in mind, there's like 5 women there. And this one woman says, I think for me, it'd be Michael B. Jordan. Mm-hmm. And then another woman's like, been there, done that. Ooh. She's like, yeah, I already did that. Ooh. And then they're like, oh, really? And she's like, oh, yeah. And he apparently is great. Just as great as you would think.
It was for sure Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, because it was Garcelle who said it. I know exactly what you're saying.
Garcelle?
Yes.
You think Garcelle gets down like that?
I don't know if she was talking about Michael B. Jordan, but I know the scene you were referencing. I know about the Real Housewives.
Would you like Timothy?
I'm a big fan of the Bravo verse.
Would you like Timothy Chalamet because he seems little and easy to wrap your arms around?
Would not.
Or Michael B. Jordan because he could hold you tight?
Okay, can I talk about this movie?
Ryan Coogler directed it and wrote it. He has done Fruitville Station.
Yes.
Creed. Like he made a real Rocky franchise, like a serious film.
Yes.
Like a real film. Black Panther. Mm-hmm. I don't got to tell you about that. Black Panther.
What did that do at the box office?
And now Sinners. Like this guy's got nothing but hits.
He's got nothing but hits. I'm stoked about this movie. And the biggest thing, too, I think it's going to bring in huge crowds this weekend. I really do. Like, people get behind his movies. They just do. But the biggest thing that makes me the most excited about it, it's an original idea that is getting the box office treatment. It's going to be on the IMAX screens. Like, that. This is what I've been calling for, man. And the fact that it's getting all these great early reviews, Y'all got to show up, show out for Sinners. Like, this is what we want. This is what we want.
Okay, Bennett.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got to figure out what happens with the Grizz tonight so I can plan to go see this.
Let me
weekend.
ask you a question.
Yep.
Because we're going out of town this weekend as a family.
Yeah.
And we got to figure out what to do on Friday night. We know what we're doing on Saturday night. We got to figure out what we're doing on Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
Should we, as a family, go see Sinners on Friday night?
You take your kids to go see it?
I mean, I'm taking my kids to see Kendrick Lamar.
That's fair.
I don't think Michael B. Jordan's going to say anything they ain't going to hear on Saturday night.
That's probably true.
You know?
That's probably true. You know what? I think you're good. Yeah, do it.
I think we might go to Sinners on Friday night and see Dot on Saturday night. That's a hell of a weekend. WrestleMania night 2 on
it's
Sunday.
WrestleMania weekend.
Woo!
Yeah, man. I'm fired up for this movie. I have to go see. This is one of those.
If you could only pick one to lay down with, would it be? If you could only lay down with one man this weekend, would it be Michael B. Jordan or Roman Reigns? That's tough.
You know how I feel about our tribal chief. Neither, dude.
OTC?
Neither. The answer is
OTC?
neither. The answer is neither. By the way, Haley Steinfeld,
Yeah.
Josh Allen's girlfriend, or wife, Josh Allen's fiance, she can be a vampire. She's a vampire in this. Yeah, she's a sexy vampire in this.
I bet she is.
Yeah.
I bet she is.
Yep.
I bet she is.
This is going to be a good one. I feel good about this. Like you said, Coogler, he don't miss. Look at his filmography. It's all hits.
If I threw Michael B. Jordan into the club, he's got one table. Timothy Chalamet's got the other table. And over here at this table, Jacob Fatu. Who you trying to hang with?
None of the above.
You trying to get crazy with a Samoan werewolf?
No.
Are you trying
Not
to?
even a main eventer.
Are you? All right, we're running out of time. This is stupid. All right, this is stupid.
Yeah, we have to go to break.
I can't wait to watch Sinners. I can't wait to watch Sinners. I don't even know. Like, why am I even doing this? I could have been home already.
I know. Yeah, what's your problem?
What am I doing? All right, we're gonna go see Sinners, and we'll be back in a minute.
Thanks.
Debo traded from San Francisco to the Commanders for a 5th-round pick. There's no other sport where you would get a player of his ilk for a 5th-round pick.
Over under total yards for Debo. If they set it at 1,000, you think he hits that over?
Total yards?
Total yards from scrimmage. Total yards.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
I need cameras to capture every waking moment between Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston on the same team. The pregame prayers will be generational.
Because that's preacher and a deacon. That's what we're talking about here. That prayer is going to be 40 minutes. We're going to miss the anthem.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Parrish Show presented by Ortho South. It's a beautiful day in downtown Memphis. Look how beautiful it looks outside.
Yeah.
A beautiful day downtown Memphis. Let's wrap this up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff, but can I hit you with some breaking news?
What's going on?
Just announced. Guess who's coming to Simmons Bank for a concert in October?
Who?
You're getting way too excited. You're not going to be excited about this. But it's something that's happening. Chris Brown?
Oh, that's actually pretty big for Simmons Bank. That's pretty good.
Is Chris Brown like a stadium guy now?
That's not a stadium.
Simmons Bank is a football stadium, Bennett.
No, you mean wait, no. He's not playing at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium.
Well, Bennett, I mean, that's what I think I read.
Wait, they're doing concerts?
I mean, we got to finish getting things. It's not till October, but we trying to get something done, yeah.
Bro, when was the last time there was a concert at that stadium?
The last one I remember is U2.
This is a positive development. This is a positive development for the
I don't
city.
care anything about Chris Brown, but I do like that there's a big act coming to.
That we can have concerts at our football stadium? Yes, that's a big deal.
Yes. I do like that. I do like that a big show is going to be at Simmons Bank.
You know who else plays football stadiums? Taylor Swift.
Yeah, but not Simmons Bank, buddy. That's different. I think
it's a big stadium.
It's levels to this, and I don't think
it's a big stadium.
Let's just celebrate getting Chris Brown. Let's don't try to pretend that means we're going to get Taylor Swift. All right?
Where's Kendrick Lamar playing?
Minneapolis.
But what is he playing at a football stadium or at the arena?
Viking Stadium. 50,000 sold out, baby.
Well.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
I like it. I like these positive developments
It's a positive
for the city.
development.
I like it. It's
It's
good
a
stuff.
positive development. We don't have to get into Chris Brown's past to try to talk about all that. He's a big star.
Yes, he is.
He's a flawed human, but a big star. And he'll be at Simmons Bank in October. It's a big development.
Okay, good.
All right, yeah.
What's today's biggest game?
It's obviously Grizzlies-Warriors, but at some point over the past couple of years, I've realized we're not supposed to be gambling on Grizzlies games. It was I was nudged in that direction. Yeah. So we're going to focus on the Hawks and Magic. 6:30 tonight. Same type of situation the Warriors and Grizzlies are in. The winner is the 7th seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs. The loser will play Friday for the opportunity to be the 8th seed. And if they don't win Friday, they'll be donezo. Tonight, Orlando, 5.5-point favorite. Totals 219.5. 6:30 tip. TNT, True TV, or Max. How you going to act?
I just cannot imagine the Magic losing this game. Will the Hawks cover? I mean, they did come in here and beat us. I have, even though they did, I got no faith in the Hawks. Give me the Magic.
Bennett said lay 5.5 points with Orlando tonight against Atlanta. By the way, the Grizzlies are now 7.5-point underdogs. When we started this thing about an hour 53 ago, it was 6.5. Golden State minus 6.5. Now it's Golden State minus 7.5.
You know what? I want to change.
I don't care. Do it, but just
give me
look at the clock.
Yeah, give me the Hawks. Give me the Hawks.
Bennett, now this is how I get confused. I don't even know what your record is. This is how I get confused because you're changing stuff all the time.
I know.
Hawks plus 5.5.
Yeah, give me that.
Hawks
give me
plus
that.
5.5. I'm going to write it down.
What are we watching on TV?
Are you watching The Pit?
I'm not, but I feel like I have to.
Everybody says it's great. It's on Max. It is just on Max. It's not like HBO. It's just on the Max app. But it's a realistic examination of the challenges facing healthcare workers in America as seen through the lens of the frontline heroes working in modern-day hospital in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
The Pit, 94% approval on Rotten Tomatoes. That's good.
I was a big ER fan back in the day.
This is the updated version of
Dr.
ER.
Carter.
That's what I
Isn't that
gather.
his name?
Could be. Hey, it's getting good reviews. People say it's good. If you're looking for a new show to watch, start streaming The Pit on the Max app. It ain't on Tubi. Ain't free.
What's the best thing we've read?
Do you see this thing floating around yesterday about yesterday was the 160th anniversary of President Lincoln's assassination?
Yes, I was.
Oh.
I know. I read up on it.
I'm sure
yes.
it's in your. Did you see the AP story people were passing around?
I did.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the AP story the morning after President Lincoln was assassinated. This is the way it read. President Lincoln and wife visited Ford's Theater this evening for the purpose of witnessing the performance of The American Cousin. It was announced in the papers that General Grant would also be present, but that gentleman took the late train of cars for New Jersey. Okay, sounds like everything's going fine. The theater was densely crowded and everybody seemed delighted with the scene before them. During the third act, and while there was a temporary pause for one of the actors to enter, a sharp report of a pistol was heard, which merely attracted attention but suggested nothing serious until a man rushed to the front of the president's box, waving a long dagger in his right hand, exclaiming some stuff I don't even know if I'm allowed to say, and immediately leaped from the box, which was in the second tier, to the stage beneath, and ran across the opposite side, made his escape amid the bewilderment of the audience from the rear of the theater, and mounted a horse and fled. That's a lot of words. We still don't know what happened.
Yep.
The groans of Mrs. Lincoln first disclosed the fact that the president had been shot when all present rose to their feet, rushing towards the stage, many exclaiming, "Hang him! Hang him!" The excitement was of the wildest possible description. There was a rush towards the president's box when cries were heard, blah, blah. You should never read that much without knowing whether the president's alive or not.
Right.
You know what? Fast forward to 2025, same thing happened. You know what it says? President Lincoln was assassinated last night in a theater, shot by a lone gunman. Buddy, they made us work to figure. President's dead. That's what it took you 5 minutes to get there, but the president's dead. Go read that. It's all over Twitter.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Hopefully a celebration. We'll be looking back at Grizz-Warriors.
Oh, let's exercise our demons.
Demons have to be exercised tonight. Tomorrow's going to be a fun show.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Chris Vernon will be here. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll enjoy mine. Meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.
Kroger shop.
Debo.
Thanks for
I never.
In honor of
Grizz Nation.
I see.
Sonic.
We touched on.
Yes.
Thanks for
Grammy.